All right, so time number 2. I was almost done within the last 2 steps of this video, and my computer completely locked up everything. So hopefully this one's a little faster. I'm making the hose in this. Only got a couple of parts left, but the hose, as you can see right here, fairly straightforward, just simple curvature. I'll make, after this video, I'll make these ferrules that crimp on the end of the hose. And but anyhow, in order to do this, the measurements are kind of rough, and pretty much most of this is free form. So what I sort of did was I held a straight edge up against the side of the tank. And if you do that, if you put an imaginary line sort of over here and draw it all the way up, you can see that some of the hose extends past that imaginary line. But if I go up this imaginary line and sort of to the maximum point that it extends over here, that'll be about 1.5 inches, and then I'll bring it also about 1.5 inches sort of past here. So I'll show you the way that sort of looks. So this is much more refined. It's not as organic of a curve, but if this straight line right here was the side of the tank, then this shows kind of the boundary, that maximum 1.5 inches that it goes out, but it's not as drastic, and there is really no straight portion of it. And then, like I said, it should go approximately maybe 1 inch or 1.25 inches past this. So the easy way to do this, and I think I made my hose layer. I'm going to go ahead and change it. Yeah, it's a gray, and it'll be hard to see on screen. So I'm going to change that to something brighter that's easy to see. So I'm going to start on a construction layer, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a line, vertical line that's 8 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a second line that's over about 1.5 inches this way. Or maybe I'll go about 1.5 inches or so this way. Maybe I'll go about 1.25. That seems about right. And then one thing you can do is you could say draw, like just offset this 1.5. And what that means is that when you draw this, you could start right here at this end, start tapering it down, and then sort of keep this as your boundary right there. So, the hose should go all the way up, basically following that path that I just drew. And the easiest, what I think works well is if you sort of try to look, I'm going to try to scale this down, but if you sort of look at the hose overall, so I'm going to make this about the same size and place it right next to it. So if I'm staring over here, but drawing over here, I probably am going to get a little bit more organic of a shape. The tool I'm going to use for this is spline, right up here. And I'll start my spline at this point, and I'm going to taper down with a series of clicks. But you can see when spline is on and object snap is on and polar is on, polar's wanting to lock me into these X and Y directions, and object snap is trying to grab anything it can along the way. So I'm going to turn polar off once I've grabbed the endpoint, and then I'm also going to turn off object snap. And I know there's 100 ways to do it, but I still do it the shift right click way. So now I'm just going to sort of come along, and I can see as it comes out, it's fairly straight. So I'm going to start fairly straight for the first couple of clicks. Bring it down maybe a little bit. I should have put this on my hose layer, but like I said, what I'm doing is I'm trying to almost look to the right while I'm making my my series of clicks. And it may be at a point where it never really fully reaches that other side, but now it looks like it's starting to taper back in. And it will, sort of at the end of its pathway, you want to bring it back and maybe down like so. Hopefully I got it. So Once you're done with that, you don't need these lines, and I would want to move this to the hose layer. Come on. Okay. And this is the part where you're just going to go ahead and try to massage out these little imperfections in the curve. Not that it's perfect, but you can see it kind of goes and then it dips down a little bit here. So if I could give this just a small nudge, maybe upward right there. Maybe this one needs a small little upward nudge. Good morning. And down here, that looks like it's pretty fair. That looks like it's pretty fair. This one might need to come in just a touch. So again, that's the purpose of getting rid of object snap in this operation, is that it'll help keep from wanting to snap to everything. So now I can turn polar back on, and I can turn object snap back on. And good. And I should probably save at this point because I didn't the other day, or when I lost this a few minutes ago. And then I'm going to go back, and I know that my diameter of the hose is 0.70, and I know that the inner diameter is 0.375, just 3/8 of an inch. So now I've got all the 2D done for this. This is all you need for the 2D portion of it. And then I'm going to go now to a Southwest isometric, work on my 3D. So I should go ahead and put my hose layer on, and I should match properties right here. So it's going to be 1, possibly 2 3D rotates, because the one I have to get the profile perpendicular to the end of the hose, standing up. The other thing, this one's pretty good. If you look at any kind of sweep pathway, you want the profile that's going to sweep, so these circles are going to follow this path, you want them to be as perpendicular. It's not super critical, but you want them to be as perpendicular as you can to the end of the sweep path. So really what you want is you want to form a 90-degree angle. Say like if this was a straight line, you want that to form a 90 right there. And so this could cruise over just a little bit, maybe like it might even be as like 5 degrees or something. But I'll grab the end of this, and I'm going to go around the blue hoop. And since I'm spinning this way, I'm in the positive direction. So I'll just say 5 degrees. Now I'll come back and look and see that's much more perpendicular, almost forms a 90. Okay. So under our 3D tools, we'll go down to sweep, and we'll grab the inner portion, and we will sweep it. Works great. I'm going to check it for fairness. This is again where kind of a last ditch effort right here is, can I improve this at all? As I look from here to here, this bend might be a little bit tight. So I think what I'll do is undo that. And it's hard to push and pull these from a perspective view. So I think I'm just going to go back to a top view, and I'm going to try to just right in this area, just ever so slightly, smooth this curve, just bring this curve in just a little bit so it's not quite as drastic. And maybe right around there. I don't even know if that snapped anything, but it could be improved just a tick. For mine, we'll say good enough. Okay. But it does really, when it's black, it won't be as noticeable as when it's pink. So we'll go sweep, click this, right click, enter, click my pathway. That does look a little bit better. And this might be another spot where I could have refined it. And then I'll sweep I think I can sweep both of these at the same time, actually. If you sweep in a wireframe, it'll move the sweep path once you do it. So we'll try this. Sweep both of them, right click, enter, and if I see 2 pathways, see it moves the sweep path to the quadrant of the circle. And now all I have to do is click subtract, select my outer, right click, select my inner, right click, and I am done. So check it with a realistic view. And there I go. And I don't need any of these images anymore, so they can go away. Might have found by now that the images actually cause your CAD sometimes to orbit weird a little bit. So that looks great. You might want to go ahead at this point and stand it up on its end and sort of assess it, like bring it over to the tank before you finish the whole project, and then realize that it's oops, I'm clicking myself. Before you finish the whole project and realize that it is too short, not contacting the tank, etc. So what I'll do is I'm just going to move it from here, and I don't have my valve in place. So what I can do is sort of come up to maybe there. Oh, that's not too helpful, but I know my valve takes up some space out this way. So see if this helps. So I know the valve will be placed on the top of this neck somewhere out in this direction, and that's about where it's going to be. So it looks like it'll be okay. Real easy thing though to make if you had to do it again. All right, that's it.